Here is an awesome aquarium setup in need of an overhaul. Two 350-gallon acrylic aquariums set end to end. The overall effect could look like a single large 18-foot long tank. The best guess is that these tanks are about 10 years old and greatly in need of a cleaning. The tanks are filtered with separate wet-dry filters and plumbed with access to drains and water underneath the tank. I am converting these tanks into a cleaner, brighter, more colorful African cichlid displays. What you are about to see is a bit disturbing. I have been working with aquariums for over 25 years and I have never seen a filtration system as dirty as this one is. The blue filter pad over the biomedia was placed there only a week before as I was trying to catch some of the waste. But these tanks never look clean because the filter is always dirty. Biomedia is literally caked with detritus. Watch how much waste comes out of only about 1 gallon of these bioballs. The really nasty stuff was found under the biomedia in the part of the filter that should be the cleanest. The client was unhappy with these tanks because they always look dirty, and after a water change this black gunk would be kicked up into the tank and make it cloudy for days. It takes years of ignoring a filter for it to get this foul. There are 2 identical wet dries in this system, and it took over 3 hours to get them cleaned up. Using proper pre-filters, more careful feeding, and a regular maintenance schedule, these filters will stay looking like this and the tank will be a lot cleaner. The clean filters were given a few days to re-establish themselves, and then the next task was rehoming the fish that were not going to fit into the new display. Some of these fish were large, old, and acclimated to some less than ideal water conditions. Care was taken to move them quickly, and then time was taken to acclimate them slowly to new tanks. Just this job required about 5 hours to complete. The next day we tackled the tanks themselves. Take a look at how dirty the pea-sized gravel in the tank is. Large gravel in a large aquarium collects too much detritus, so we are going to replace it with sand. Sorry for the lack of in-progress video, but my hands were wet for most of the day. Here are the converted aquariums after redecorating and filling the tanks back up. The sand is only 1/2 inch deep. It looks a lot brighter than the pea gravel and is definitely a lot cleaner. Changing substrate and redecorating stresses an aquarium, so new fish were not added until a few days later. The tank decor is laid out to try to look like a Lake Malawi shoreline. The left side is very open. The large Copedochromis chrysognotus will spend their time in the open water, over top of the Certicara morii, which will monopolize the open sandy bottom. Various other Mbuna and hap-like species will spend their time in the open and in the rocks. The right side tank has more rocks and more species that like to hide around rocky structure. The idea is to try to make it look like one aquarium over 18 feet. Here are the tanks after all the extra equipment is added and the fish have been released. The circulation pumps in the outer ends of the tanks help to keep the substrate clean and to make a natural drifting effect on the sand. The only thing that I do not like is the color of the limestone and the way its flat shape looks unnatural next to the darker, rounder rocks. Eventually I will replace the limestone. If you notice the black squares on the surface of the water, those are feeding rings. Automatic feeders on the surface of the tank drop floating food into the water into that ring, and the lip keeps the food from being sucked over into the overflow and fouling the filter. And here is the finished project, except for the changing of the rock, eventually. Everything looks good, and the fish have apparently already learned what the automatic feeder schedule is. I am really looking forward to maintaining these tanks. They are going to mature into a really impressive display once the fish start to reach their full size and maturity. Stay tuned to future videos to see how this tank looks.